Welcome to this video about an intense, but at the same time special event, from the Bible, the Great Tribulation. In this video we will delve deeper into what exactly the Great Tribulation entails, and why God allows this period on earth. We also see that the Great Tribulation will produce something beautiful, which we will discuss later. It is extremely important to have a good understanding of the Great Tribulation, because it helps us understand what will happen in the world, before Christ returns. Let's look at the timeline first. First, the rapture of the church will take place. Then comes the Great Tribulation, and then Jesus returns, to end the Great Tribulation. This means that believers will not experience this terrible time. Let's start our journey by looking at some Bible texts that speak of the Great Tribulation. Jesus says in Matthew 24, "For there will be a time of great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world, until this time, no, nor ever will be." In Daniel 12 it says, "It will be a time of tribulation, such as has not been since there was a nation." When we read all these terrible texts, we may wonder, why all the misery? How is it possible that God allows this? There are several reasons for this. These include the outpouring of God's wrath, judging the nations, chastising the people of Israel, and saving many people. We will discuss these reasons in more detail. Let's start with reason 1, the wrath of God. It is important to realize that there is a distinction between the wrath of God and the wrath of man. The wrath of God is always just and holy, while people are often angry without reason. The Bible calls us not to be angry, or angry with one another, but to hand our wrath into God's hands. God will take revenge. This is not man's job. In the Great Tribulation, both the wrath of God and the wrath of the Lamb, Jesus Christ, are poured out. It will be an intense period, as the book of Revelation speaks about. Various disasters will happen, and there will be great misery on earth. The people cry out in Revelation 6. Kings, rulers, commanders, rich, great, slaves, and free people, everyone tried to hide in caves, and between the rocks in the mountains. They called out to the mountains and the rocks, "Fall down on us. Hide us from the eye of him who sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For now, the great day of their wrath has come, and who can endure it?" The Bible also contains other texts that speak of the wrath of God. God's wrath is poured out during the Great Tribulation and during the final judgment. For example, consider Romans 1, which states, "God's wrath is revealed from heaven against all evil and injustice of those who violate the truth with their unrighteousness." God is not only love, God will also take revenge on all injustice in the world. It is very important to understand why God pours out his wrath. This happens because of the sin and wickedness that is prevalent on the earth. And that is very understandable. Today, we also want people who do injustice and hurt others to be punished by the courts. The period of God's wrath during the Great Tribulation lasts 7 years. We see this in Daniel 9, where it is said that the Antichrist strengthens the covenant for a week. A week consists of 7 years. I am grateful to God that the Great Tribulation is going to end, and will not last more than 7 years. The first 3.5-year period of the Great Tribulation is characterized by a period of relative peace, followed by a 3.5-year period of severe tribulation. The breaking of the first seal of the scroll in the book of Revelation marks the beginning of God's wrath. At the first seal, the Antichrist goes out to conquer the earth as a conqueror. After 3.5 years, people will see who the Antichrist really is, if he wants to be worshipped as God, in the Temple of Jerusalem. The Antichrist will destroy God's people, and the people who believed during the Great Tribulation. Then we now look at the second reason. During the Great Tribulation, God judges the earth and its inhabitants. This includes judgment on the city of Babylon and the people living on earth. These judgments are just and true, because they are based on the sins and bloodshed that have occurred. Today many wonder, why doesn't God intervene? During the Great Tribulation, God will intervene, and he will judge people righteously. It will be a terrible judgment. Reason 3 of the Great Tribulation is the chastisement and purification of the people of Israel. It will be a very hard and difficult time for Israel, but God has not forgotten his people. During this period, the eyes of the Israelites will be opened, and the Israelites will recognize Jesus as their Messiah. During this difficult time, God will protect them, and they will call on Jesus as their bridegroom and Messiah. We see this in Romans 11, which says, "For I do not want you, brethren, to be ignorant of this mystery, that a hardening has come upon Israel in part, until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. And so all Israel will be saved, as it is written, the Redeemer will come out of Zion, and will turn away ungodliness from Jacob." Despite all the horrors of the Great Tribulation, there is also a message of hope. During this period, many people will come to faith and be saved. This is the fourth reason why the Great Tribulation will take place. There will be a great multitude from all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues, who will stand before the throne and the Lamb. The judgments and wrath of God lead to faith and repentance, allowing people to make their robes white in the blood of the Lamb. Many people will come to faith. Even though they will have a terrible time, during the Great Tribulation, they will spend eternity with God in heaven. So we see that the Great Tribulation is a terrible period that has never happened before. God's wrath is holy and righteous, lasting 7 years. Though Israel be put into distress, she shall be saved. Moreover, a large number of people will come to faith during the Great Tribulation and be saved. The Great Tribulation is a terrible time, but it is necessary. It will be a special time when the devil and the Antichrist will rule on earth. People will really have to make a choice between the worldly desires and the devil, or the heavenly desires and Jesus Christ.